fresh meat.
Hey guys, Butcher here. I come to you as a veteran player of Beast of Bermuda. I purchased this game a little over 3 years ago, and in that time I've managed to rack up a whopping 6,000 hours of playtime, and I've come to know so much about this absolute gem of a game. This game alone has held my attention for nearly 100% of the 3 years I've owned it, which is saying a lot for me. The content is overflowing with this game and has so much replayability it can hook you from nearly every aspect. That being said, I've noticed recurring problems within the history of the game. Official servers inevitably stave off population to the point where people don't play them anymore, while community servers dominate the player base. This is often an overlooked problem that has a severe impact on new players and the longevity of the game itself. Once official server players leave, the official population inevitably drops and players are lost indefinitely. I aim to fix these issues, but it's entirely up to the developers to enact these changes. I've taken some time to save up on these thoughts and try my best to come up with solutions for these issues. I'm very passionate about this game and wholeheartedly want it to succeed and thrive. First, let's ask ourselves, why should official servers be the lifeblood of the game? Simply put, it's entirely what the game is balanced around. All of the dinosaurs' abilities and capabilities revolve around how many players can exist within a pack, and the groups that can form. When community servers come in and change things like pack limits or grouping allowances, the game develops major imbalances and reflects poorly on the vision of the game for new players and potential future buyers of Beast of Bermuda. This isn't even the height of the problem. The main reason community servers populate over official is that server owners have a large tendency to make the game easier to survive through server setting. I'm just not sure why you would make a survival game and then give people the option to turn off nearly all the survival elements that have been added over the years. All the hard-earned development just gets switched off with a button. Settings have been added over the years to make things easier. Settings like 2 times growth, less food, water drain, and the dreaded auto-revive. Auto-revive is the worst setting to enable. It completely takes the survival element away from the game and offers no risk/reward gameplay. If options like these continue to exist, people will passively take the easier route to grow and exist within the game. Let's think about this for a second. A new player joins Beast of Bermuda and starts playing on a community server. It's either easier to survive or simply because they have friends that play on. They play for a few months and become very invested in the dinosaurs they have created. Now, let's say the server dies, like most community servers eventually do. That player of a week, a month, or even a year loses all the progress they have attained within the game, feels defeated, and leaves the game for good. Not only did Beast of Bermuda lose an official player, but now they have lost a potentially long-time player of the game itself. We can solve this issue by making survival settings the same across the board. Stop allowing people to turn off basic functions that make Beast of Bermuda what its core gameplay is. Without them, I'm not even sure why you would have downloaded the game in the first place. My second issue is how the game is marketed. Make one search on YouTube of the top 10 dinosaur games, and you won't even find the best 3 available, which in my opinion are Beast of Bermuda, Path of Titans, and The Isle. This is likely because all 3 of these games are being backed by an incredibly small team of hardworking individuals that may not have the greatest funding to support advertisements. This issue can be solved through paid content. As a single purchase game, Beast of Bermuda has to rely on incoming new players to support future development. A game like this needs to have some sort of funding to continue paying its staff and letting those hardworking individuals attain a comfortable wage. Paid content can be extremely controversial in games, but you can remove all controversy by making all of the paid content not pay to win. Purchases like new skins, emotes, or cosmetics that alter the look of the dinosaur but do not give them an in-game advantage in any way are surely a great way to fund and support future development and advertising of the game. You could be selling the best product in the world, but you won't be making any money if nobody knows about it. A simple social media ad or offering a free version of the game to a major YouTuber to come and try the game now and then would be a huge step in getting the word out to people. This would allow more sales of the game and potentially more sales for in-game cosmetic purchases, snowballing into more funding for development. Making money certainly isn't everything in the game world, especially for small-time developers, but it's a necessary evil that must happen before a game loses its steam. The developers have tried money-making campaigns in the past, like selling plushies, soundtrack to the game, and toxic death messages. It's a step in the right direction, but things like plushies do not offer a continuous stream of revenue for the game. Paid cosmetic content is a win-win for everyone. It finally allows a player like me to give back to a game that only cost me $20. And I don't know about you, but 6,000 hours of entertainment for $20 is a damn good deal. My next issue with the game is moderation. In the past, Beast of Bermuda has struggled with its player base and server moderation, whether it be official or community servers. Community servers have long been known to have biased admins because these people aren't being held accountable for the success of the game. All they want is an easy paycheck from the good people who fall into the trap of donating to their cause. Most of these servers end up being run by a younger team whose intentions may be good, but may have not had the real-life experience needed to govern a body of people who expect to be treated fairly with an unbiased agenda. This can create a lot of drama within the game due to severely biased punishments, leaving players mentally defeated. You might ask how we can correct this issue. Well, it's a tough one, and I believe the ultimate solution is getting rid of rules altogether. This may seem like an insane concept at first glance, if you're a long-term player, but in reality, it would allow the developers to solely focus on the game itself, instead of settling petty disputes all day from the reporting system. Path of Titans is a great example of this, where there are no rules, and people can mix pack freely. Huge changes would need to be enabled to make this a success, but ultimately would solve so many sour attitudes towards staff members and remove the dreaded reporting system within the community's Discord. This would also bring fairness to those whose computers aren't powerful enough to run the game and record simultaneously. These people aren't even capable of representing themselves when a rule might be broken, which is completely unfair, and wards off potential new players to the game. The whole report process is quite daunting to someone who just wants to tear stuff up as their favorite dinosaur. The only other major thing I could think of to help the game, aside from balancing issues or mechanics, would be that the dev team needs to communicate with its players much more often than they currently do. I've noticed a bit more effort on sneak peeks recently, and I love it. Keep stuff like that going. It doesn't have to be major content drops and concepts all the time, or massive patch notes. Just throw something out there to show your players you are working as hard as you are. This feels so good to your dedicated players who are constantly seething for more content in your game. Every time a patch drops in Beast of Bermuda, so does my jaw. The number of changes that get added is incredible, but I feel like, wow, I had no idea something like this was being implemented. It would have been nice to see a sneak peek. Sharing little tidbits of what you're working on connects you to your players. It can be a great relationship that also allows praise for the developer's work and gives them fuel to make more majorly awesome content. Please talk to us more, devs, please! Aside from major player count and business issues, there are a few game mechanics I want to address that I think would help keep more players around. Allowing large dinosaurs into ori holes dug around the map is a major issue. It allows certain dinosaurs overpowered strategic advantages in confined spaces in any place on the map. Dinosaurs like Sai or Koa thrive in a confined space, and an ori hole burrow haven takes away from good gameplay. The devs just added in the patch notes that ori burrows will add the restless debuff condition rather quickly now when in a burrow, but I would suggest that every dinosaur other than ori or velo can simply just not enter the burrow in the first place. This also solves the problem of always having an escape route wherever you want on the map. There should only be so many safe havens found on the map to create different hunting scenarios for people to enjoy. What's the point in having any structures on the map if you can create your own god spot? Another major mechanic issue I have with the game is the use of portals. Like an ori burrow haven, I feel portals also allow for poor gameplay. Certain creatures benefit from using portals and camp them to prevent other players from using them or using the portal as a way to get away from predators. An Appa entering the portal now has the ultimate defense position over its predators and is in a potential god spot, preventing anyone from attacking it and using its tail to trap people in the portal structure. There's also a seemingly unfixable issue with breaking bones after exiting the portal, which leaves players maimed with injury and unable to properly run or chase people. The portal on Spiral Island also takes away potential prey for aquatics. There's no point to cross the water anymore if you can just get through safely using the portal. Aquatic dinosaurs should be able to interact with terrestrial creatures as much as possible to create more player engagement within the map. The only reason the portal was implemented was that players whined they couldn't get to and from Spiral Island. My suggestion is to remove the portal and beef up the pathways to desert and palm paths with a bit more of landmass under the water. Create a scenario where aquatics can interact with terrestrials but still give land dwellers a fighting chance. Weigh risk versus reward like Rival Shores did with the tides. So very well. My final suggestion to help the game would be to add a tutorial for players to help them retain the vast information Bob has to offer. I love all the content this game provides, but it can be a little much for a person entering the game for the first time. There's so much information required to understand all the mechanics of the game, and to truly thrive in it, you need to know everything. A tutorial room explaining all the shrine functions, trials, reincarnation, resurrection, getting sick, food and water variations would be massively beneficial to help new players not feel so overwhelmed. The abundance of content is amazing, but it has to come to a point in time where a manual to the game is required. I've had a lot of people comment in my videos / polls saying that toxicity is a huge problem with official servers. While that may be true, it's no different from any other server or survival game. I really can't understand why this would be a major complaint when the devs had made it incredibly easy just to hit the mute button in the tab menu for troublesome players. I'm not even sure why punishments are being issued when a mute button is an option. If you don't like what someone is saying, just mute them. There doesn't have to be issued warnings and bans every time someone gets offended. Newsflash! This is also why people can potentially leave this game. People don't want to be micromanaged in chat 24/7. We don't have to protect every individual under 18 on the internet. That's what parents are for, and I'm guessing if parents allow their children unsupervised on the internet, I'm sure they don't care if they hear something offensive in the first place. That's all I have for you guys today. I know it may be a long shot for some of my suggestions to come to fruition, but I believe this will be the best path of success for this game. If you have any suggestions of your own, please leave them in the comments. The devs certainly watch these videos, and they also find these comment sections to be even more beneficial than their own feedback forums. In the meantime, come play with me on official servers and help keep this game alive. Official servers represent the best this game has to offer, even if it is just a little bit harder to survive. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you on the battlefield.